This is an exclusive Essential Worker series. House of Ramirez takes on the initiative to bridge the gap between essential workers and the communities that they serve. We are telling their story from their point of view amidst the pandemic. We are all part of the community. We are changing the narrative.
Hey guys, this is House of Ramirez. You already know what's up. We out here in Atlanta, A-Town Shouted. We're representing, and this is an exclusive Essential Worker series. So I want to thank Gwinnett County Fire. I want to thank everybody in the department, just working hard to just protect us. You know, a lot of times we don't see they're human just like us. So what I'm trying to do with this series and what I'm going to do is show you guys that they're human. They go grocery shopping like us. They have a family like us. The only slight difference is on a day-to-day basis, when they clock in, they risk their lives to protect us. So I want to thank them in this series. And without any more time wasted, I want to go ahead and bring on my brother, whoop, whoop, Don. So Don, can you please go ahead and tell us who you are and where you are from?
Absolutely. But even before I do that, let me say thank you for even having me on and giving me the opportunity to speak to your audience. My name is Donald Strother. I am actually from Washington, D.C. That is, the DMV is home for me. Grew up in the suburbs of Maryland, probably in grade school, and moved down to Atlanta back in 2003-ish, and have made this home. I struggle with saying this is home, because my heart is going to always be in DC, but this is where I work and I get the opportunity to serve the community.
Yeah, that's super dope, super dope. I was like, dang. But you know, you dedicated yourself to actually be in the community and give back, and that's essential. And we need to pay attention to that part. I got a little jelly when you said DMV is your home, but you got to represent, and that's what I tell everybody. You need to know where you come from to know where you're going. When you have a good, strong foundation, you're able to understand the steps you need to take to move forward in life, whichever path you choose. I want to ask you, can you please tell us what it is that you do? A lot of our audience is just coming on, and I want to go ahead and give you the platform to tell us what you do, so they could get a chance to get to know you.
Sure, absolutely. Long journey. When I first got hired with the department back in 2006, entry-level firefighter. Also went through EMT school. Did that for a little bit, and acquired a lot of firefighting skills along the way, a lot of basic medical skills. And then I actually chose to attend paramedic school, put myself in a better position to help my daughters out, really. They had a lot of respiratory illnesses. And so I felt like I needed to be able to speak the medical language to the doctors so that the doctors um, would give an increased level of care, because I knew more than the average person. So that was a success. Was a driver engineer. Then came up here to fire headquarters in an administrative position, if you will. My current role is the Assistant Public Information Officer, or Assistant PIO. And really, really enjoy doing that, because what it allows me to do, bridge gaps. I know that's one of the things that you are known for, and that is what I personally do. I bridge the gap between the community and the fire department, and really just the public. So many people, they really appreciate what we do, but then there are a lot of people that don't have an accurate understanding of what we do. And so one of my responsibilities is to take care of our social media pages. And so that allows me to really put a lot of public service announcements out there, to spotlight our employees, to help people really get to know some of the people that work within their individual community. And so I get a lot of pleasure out of doing that. As a firefighter, you have a servant's attitude, if you will. And so it's a big team environment. Everyone has to do something where they play a significant part in the success of the team. And so I view my part just as important to help people to see that what they see on TV. I won't name any firefighting shows, but that's not real. And so really trying to help them to see what we do in the community. If you look at our Facebook and Twitter page at gwinnettfire, you'll see some of the pictures we've posted this week with our crews being back in the community. That's exciting for us. We've missed being able to do that because of the pandemic. So I'm saying a lot, but hopefully in the midst of what I've said, it gives you kind of a glimpse as to what I do.
Yeah, and I love it. I appreciate it. So thank you. I want to thank you as well for making time, because I know you're busy trying to save lives. And I'm like trying to cut into that. I just want a piece of the pie. I don't want the whole pie. I just want a piece of the pie. But I want to thank you and everybody else too. So, I started this series a couple of months ago. And I did have the honor of meeting Gwinnett Fire Department 5. They came out to a family's neighborhood, and my children were with me. And I was like, well, why not? They're out here saving lives. Now they're taking time out of their busy schedule. They did have a call during the 3 to 5, but it's to be understood. But my children were so at awe. They've done it before when they were much, much younger. But for them to get another opportunity to get an inside scoop of what the truck looks like, that they're amicable people, everybody there, from the young lady to the young men, different cultural backgrounds, it gave my children that sense of security. So I kept telling them, hey, if you do happen to see one in full uniform, they wear this and that, don't be scared. They look like astronauts, but they're here to help, and they get it. But for the little ones, I saw other children that were much younger than mine, and they were at complete awe. They were like, oh, you guys are always ripping and running, and it's just beautiful to actually have that time for the children to actually see, take that time. And it's a loving thing that you guys are doing, to taking time from saving lives to come back out into the community to show the children we're here to help. So
Thank you. Thank you. If I can even speak to that, that is one of the things that we are ramping back up post COVID, is to really get back out in the community. And what communities will start to see is not just our fire trucks, but our fire educators that work in our community risk reduction section. And so last week, one of the events that you probably attended, we were trying to give an increased level of awareness as to water safety tips. Kids are definitely back out now, and they can swim at the swimming pools, and or they may even be home by themselves for an extended period of time. And so we're trying to teach them fire safety tips as well, what to do if there is a fire. And we actually are in our full turnout gear, not to be afraid of us. We call that the friendly firefighter, to see us before we put the gear on, and then see us putting that gear on to let them see there's nothing magical taking place. It's still the same person, just in a gear. And so if we come into your house trying to look for you, you don't have to hide. That's one of the sad things that we found. Some may hide in the closet or hide under their bed against the wall. And so it increases the challenge of trying to find them. So being able to go into the community, establish that connection with them, let them see, as you mentioned, we're real people, we're here to save lives. And if we can just impact one life to make them or help them, I should say, to see that we're normal people, we're real. Yes, we wear a badge, but that's simply to identify what we do. It's not who we are. And so trying to help them to understand that, at the end of the day, we're just there to help. And we love doing that. We love being able to interact with them, to put a smile on the kid's face, to put an honorary fire helmet on their head, to give them an honorary badge in the form of a sticker, and to see them light up as bright as the lights on our truck. That's what it's all about for us. So thank you for acknowledging that, because we do enjoy that.
Yeah, it was awesome. And, I also want to say, going back to what you had mentioned, that you did it for your children, for your daughters. Everything I do it for my children. And when you're a parent, it tends to be that way. There are some rare cases out there, but for the most part, when you're successful in what you're doing and you're giving back to the community, your children are what motivates you. And of course, there are many other factors as well. So shout out to your family, shout out to the department, and keep up the great work. We see you guys. So yeah,
Thank you.
that's awesome.
Thank you.
So with that, I want to ask you, like, what drives you? We already heard the motivation to better yourself, to give back, to help your daughters as well. What else has driven you to be so successful? And I drive so hard the point that people should be entrepreneurs, but I also respect the fact that people dedicate their lives to a company and build a strong foundation, a great career path, for other individuals that want to go into that path, that field. So I want to encourage you to keep excelling in what you're doing, because it definitely takes dedication. It takes love for thy neighbor. But I'd like to know what fuels you every single day. You actually go to the fire. Literally, you go towards the fire. You and your team go towards the fire when everybody's running away from it. So what is it that keeps pushing you to be so-called, like Black Panther or Batman? What fuels you to do that?
You know, that's such a loaded question, because it sparks a variety of emotions. My parents really instilled a value system of giving back to the community in whatever capacity that may be. And it's different for everyone. But being able to help, it's really that simple. When you're drawn to want to do something for someone without any type of gain, um, that that drives you, and to be able to make a difference in the community. You see, or you may hear things on the news that don't necessarily paint a positive picture as to what's going on around us, but that doesn't have to be the reality that we find ourselves in. We can make that change for ourselves. And so really, every single day, trying to impact somebody's life in a positive light. And it could just be from a smile. It might not be from running a call. We may be in the grocery store picking up groceries to cook at the station. And someone walks by, and just a friendly smile can change that person's day. You don't know what they're going through. And we were taught from way back in rookie school, when people call 911, they things have escalated to the point that they feel the situation is above and beyond their area of expertise. There is no 912, it's 911. That's the only number to call. And so it puts us in a position to help. And that's really what it comes down to. Just a genuine love for neighbor. You mentioned that, being just be human, and you can impact the life of a person in any capacity. It doesn't just have to be firefighting, but we're privileged enough to do that. We enjoy the camaraderie, being able to work with our crews. We live at the firehouse for an entire 24 hours. And so you bond, and there's the teamwork. And so as a team, you figure out, how can we make a difference in the community that we serve? We have we have exactly 31 fire stations strategically located all throughout Gwinnett County. And so each station, they are assigned to save the lives and protect the property of the people that live in that immediate area. And so collectively, on 3 different shifts, that's what they do. They may go out and do what we call pre-plan, figure out, okay, if there was a fire here, what type of materials is the home made of? How much time would we have to actually put the fire out? Where's the fire hydrant? Are we going to be able to locate that and make a connection from the hydrant to the trucks quick enough to put the fire out? If it's a building, okay, well, where's the fire department connection? You may see a sign FDC connection. And so that type of scenario. What about a high rise, a university? And so we're training an active shooter. If we had to go in to a facility with the police department, our partners in blue, how could we go about doing that to save as many individuals as possible? So when it comes all the way back full circle and you get right down to it, it just comes from wanting to help other people. So that is the motivating factor to day in and day out, um, put our lives on the line with inherent risk, but knowing at the end we get to help our community. So that's a positive.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I just want to touch up on that. I want to shout out your parents. I'm big on shout outs. Anybody that knows me, I'm big on shout outs. Our parents, they're imperfect just like we are. There's nobody perfect on this world, on this earth. And they give us the best that they got, and that helps mold us into being the people that we are today. So, life has a way of giving us this path where we navigate, but a lot of people say train the child a certain way, so even sometimes when they got hiccups and they go left or they go right, they always come right back to that path of sturdiness, of strength, of righteous. And I think that your parents did an amazing job with you. It does start at home.
Thank you.
It does take a lot for people to really get to know who they are and what they want to do in life, and you definitely got it under control and you got it figured out. And I'm just very thankful that we have people like you, hardworking people, dedicated people, to help us when we need you guys. And yeah, there's only one number. I mean, it's a 3-digit number, but you get what I'm saying. There's only one number when it's a life or death, or it's a I need help. You come equipped every single time, regardless of what it looks like at home, regardless of what's going on in life. You come equipped with a smile on your face, ready to rock and roll. And that is what we need, what we ask for when we dial those 3 digits, 911. Though that come here, please help now. So and it does take a partnership, a strong partnership with our brothers and sisters in the blue department as well. Not just the red department. We're highlighting right now the red department, but everybody. It's a team effort. So that's awesome. And I want to ask you, just out of curiosity, because a lot of people are like, well, yeah, they have lives, but this is what they do. And then the media has changed a certain narrative. There are sometimes bad apples in the batch, but that's not as common as the media likes to portray it. And what I want to do is give people an inside scoop. Just give us a mini scoop of what it is to live a day in your shoes. Like how would you walk us through, especially even like I think we're almost done with the pandemic, but the pandemic last year, things shifted? Did things change a little? Give us a mini tour of what it is to be in your shoes for one day.
Sure. Kind of two different shoes. I'm not on the front line as much as I used to be. So I'll give you the perspective of being on the front line. A firefighter shift runs from 7 a.m. on one day and it doesn't end until 7 a.m. the very next day. So it's literally a 24-hour period where they are at the fire station. When they first get to the fire station, there's what we call checkoffs. You have to check your truck, whatever unit you're on, be it the ambulance, the fire engine, or the ladder truck. We have checkoff sheets to make sure all the necessary equipment is on the truck in its proper place at an appropriate par level. so that, as you mentioned earlier, regardless of what type of call that we get, we're properly equipped. We also have to make sure that there aren't any safety defects that we may find. Maybe air pressure in the tire is low, or maybe possibly an oil leak. There could be a variety of things, but that's the first thing that's done. Once all the trucks are checked off, typically there's what we call a shift meeting, where the entire crew goes to the dining table, and there's a meeting. The what we call the company officer, be it the captain or the lieutenant, will actually go over some things, maybe some emails that need to be read. Um, Maybe there's some things that need to be addressed in-house. Hey, we need to improve how quickly we leave the station, or maybe there's a fuel restriction and we need to do a better job at just increasing everyone's awareness of things. There may be an agenda that's reviewed. Hey, today we need to go do a PR at a school, or we're going to go up to the training academy and we're going to work on forcible entry skills. Those types of things that take place. There's a lot of training that goes on every month. There's X amount of what we call continuing education hours that need to be acquired. And so that could be in the form of a tabletop discussion, reviewing a PowerPoint, um, or hands-on drill, getting in gear and going out and physically doing some things, getting familiar and reacclimated with the gear, pulling hose off of the truck, connecting to the hydrant, being able to identify different areas of when a tool should be used. There's so many things, and that's in between going back and forth, responding to calls. Have to go to the grocery store to buy lunch as well as dinner. And so typically one truck is assigned to do that, and everyone has to chip in. Right now, it's about $10 a day that covers 2 meals. And so so um, there's a challenge there. You have to be thrifty, and you still have to know how to make a meal that's tasty. And so somebody is in charge of cooking that meal. Some of the newer firefighters get the opportunity to learn how to be sous chefs, dicing up onions, tomatoes, whatever that may entail. But it gives them an opportunity to acquire some cooking skills as well. Each day of the week, there's what we call an area of the day. And so Mondays are what we call truck day, where you spend a lot of time. You spend a lot of time, or more time than usual, in making sure the trucks are detailed, and making sure the equipment is the way it needs to be. And so each day of the week has something with that. Tuesday is bathroom day. And so the bathrooms, the showers, the floors, they need to be scrubbed, because it's your home. And so you need to do that. Although, the toilets are clean at the beginning of the shift and at the end of the shift, but you spend more time than normal on Tuesday. Wednesday is kind of what we call the office day, where you go into the office, do some cleaning there. Thursday is kitchen day, where you actually um, reorganize the drawers, the cabinets, you wipe down things, you clean the blinds, you dust. And Friday is kind of a general makeup day. Saturday is yard day, and Sunday is probably the only day there's not an area of the day, but then that's typically spent doing a little bit more training than normal. So there's a lot of different things that go on at the fire station. Um, but at the end of the day, it's home. And so that's one side of the house. For me personally, being the assistant public information officer, my day starts about 6 a.m. I get up, I check my emails, I try to make sure there's nothing pressing taking place that needs attention. And then it's really going about communicating with different people. Maybe the media is inquiring about being able to speak on a podcast, or maybe they're inquiring about an incident that occurred in a particular community and they're looking for more details on that. And so I may need to facilitate that and send that request to a different section, try to get reports to where they need to be. And then it's also spending time looking for social media content, trying to go look at the numbers. While we may feel that a certain message needs to be shared, it might not be received as well as we thought. Not that it's negative, but they don't understand the urgency of the information that we're trying to share. And so trying to be creative and tell that message differently, maybe with a different picture that's more of an attention grabber. Um, Rewording the message, looking for opportunities to go out into the community, take pictures, and then have a message with those pictures, posting it on our social media page, and try to engage the community in dialogue, things of that nature. But also when responding to major incidents, a fire incident, a train derailment, a major accident on 85 that causes all lanes to close. I try to get to some of those incidents, to take pictures, to get an accurate assessment as to what's either happening or happened, and then reporting that to the command staff, senior leadership, members of the board of commission, trying to keep them notified or informed as much as possible. And if an incident has escalated to the point where there are media hits or inquiries, making sure they get the information that they need to tell that story to the community as well, be it in print or on live TV. So no day is the same in the role of public information officer, but I enjoy it because it's my wheelhouse. It's what I did when I was in corporate America before coming here. So it allows me to tell stories, tell narratives in a positive light, to help people to see, hey, when you live in Gwinnett County, you're getting the best of the best. We pride ourselves in what we do, and making sure that people are safe, feel safe, are comfortable in their surroundings. And there's a big responsibility that comes with that when you're taking care of about 1 million people every single day. Um, those are the types of stories that we like to share, so that they know, wow, I want to live in Gwinnett, because they're going to take care of me. So that's a broad stroke, if you will, as to what we do. On a day-to-day basis, but there it is.
So I'm still stuck on $10. You lost me at $10. But hey, any mother knows, any mother knows it's a huge stretch to make that happen. But when you're in need, because I've been there, done that, when you're in need, you can make shit pop. But I will say, I'm about to walk my ass. I'm about to change and walk my ass to the nearest fire department and drop off some money or some muffins or something. Because, oh my God. But, I said it. You don't have to say it. Nobody has to say it. I just, as a mom, I know if you got to make it work, you make it work. And, that just makes me, not just that one aspect, but that's a key point, because I've been there. I felt that. I've done that. It just makes you appreciate everybody much more. And I will say I have a homeboy that actually is a lieutenant in the fire department in Atlanta. And he loves cooking. I love cooking. I'm not a baker. Don't ask me to bake anything outside of a box, but I will cook my butt off. And he actually has more tips than I would have for somebody else, and I'm just at awe sometimes. I'm like, well, what kind of cheese? What you do what? So he puts me on game sometimes, and I want to appreciate everybody for just it. When you see firefighters at the grocery store, it's always nice. It's cool. They're amongst us. They're with us. It's like, yeah, but I never knew that. It just puts things into so much a different perspective, and it's awesome. And then the fact that you have different days for different things, I can definitely say We all need to marry a firefighter. Ladies. I'm playing, all jokes. But you know, you guys in Gwinnett County are phenomenal. When people say, oh, your family has property in Gwinnett too. Yes. Oh, Gwinnett's nice. Yes, it is. And you feel very safe. You know, it's not a perfect world, as we mentioned. But when there is an instance where 911 has to be dialed, you feel safe. I can walk up and down from my mom's house and my dad's house on different streets, different ways, you know, and just know at any time at night, anytime during the morning, early morning, or throughout the day, I can walk. I could go jogging. I could go walking with my headphones on, and knowing, of course, there's like, you know, imperfect things that happen randomly at different times, but I feel safe going to my parents' house and walking up and down the street, knowing that everything's going to be okay, because there's a clockwork of people wearing a badge or uniform, and I know that I'm going to be okay. So yeah, I think you hit it right on the nail when you said Gwinnett is a great place to live. Atlanta is a great place to live too, for everybody in Atlanta. Shout out, you know, ATL. But Gwinnett is actually a part of me growing up, and I feel very dear to it. Now it's time to give back, and seeing that other people are also giving back, dedicating their lives to give back is phenomenal. So yeah, big ups.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I want to ask you now, I want to ask you personally. We got through the all nitty gritty so people understand what it is you do. Y'all are human just like us. Y'all wash dishes, clean toilets just like us, whether y'all are at work or not, plus saving lives. And I want to ask, what do you think will make this world a better place? A lot of people think it's love or compassion or just different other things. Different people experience life differently. So I want to pick your brain a little. What do you think?
Wow, Leslie, that's another good question. But you know what? It's really not that hard. Just be a good human. You know, at the end of the day, people just want to be appreciated. They want to be liked. They want to be accepted. And so, while we as firefighters have the unique position to help people at a much higher level than most, it doesn't take much to be a good person, to be neighborly. We don't have to live next door to each other to be neighborly, you know. Yeah, I mentioned earlier having a servant's attitude, really putting someone else, their needs above ours. If everyone would do that, wow, like that would simplify things tremendously. Because once you start putting different agendas, be it political, religious, you know, that kind of convolutes things. But when you put it at its most basic core or basic principle, just be a good person, be a good neighbor. Um, you know, one of the things that immediately impressed me when I first moved to Georgia back in 2003, coming from the nation's capital. When people drive on the road down here, more times than not, if you're at a traffic light and a person is trying to get out of a parking lot, they let the person come in front of them, and that took so much for me to get used to, because that used to make me so upset. Like, what are you doing? Like, they need to wait. Like, you're making me late. But that for me helped me to slow down and to take in life differently. And I love that about Georgia. And so it's funny when I see people now that don't do that, I say they're not from Georgia. They don't get it. But to my point, that's just being a good neighbor, putting someone else before you. And it really changes the entire dynamics of things. So that's my answer, and I'm sticking with that.
100 for Essential Worker of the Year, please. But I want to go ahead and iterate that because so many times we hear the golden rule, as a young kid, the golden rule, do to others as you want done to you. But it goes a long way, and it goes back to teaching children that at a young age, because besides politics, besides classes, besides religion, besides different things that divide us as humans, at the end of the day, we only have each other, and the golden rule plays a big part into, just like you said, strip it from everything else and just be human. What do you have? A community. The word unity is in the word community. So
Well said.
right. So yeah, we just need to love people, and not just our direct neighbor, like you said, but just anybody that we see that might need something. It don't hurt, just help out, and like you said too, a simple smile can go a long way. You never know what people are going through. And it is better to give to others than to receive, even though gifts, tangible things and non-tangible, like a good thought or a good positive affirmation quote, it does help, and it does help us. But when you do things without expecting anything in return, the result is so much bigger. The joy is so much bigger. Anybody out there that has serviced the community can definitely second what we just said. It's definitely important to treat others how we want to be treated. So dope. But I told you, people already know how I get down. I always tell people, shout out, House of Ramirez, shout out. So now we talked about you. We talked about what it is you do. Also, what do you think this world could use more of to be better, right? But now I want to ask you, who is your House of Ramirez shout out? So there's always people in our corner while we're struggling, while we're excelling. Who are those people that I'm giving you my platform to go ahead and put the spotlight on to shout them out?
That's a long list, Leslie. That's a long list. Wow. Um, I'm going to always shout out my parents. I mentioned them before, but they really, they did an amazing job with myself and my two sisters, and can always count on them to uh, keep me grounded and make things go full circle, to make sure my perspective is where it needs to be, good or bad. Shout out my daughters. Their uh, unfortunate health issues at such a young age motivated me to want to become a paramedic. I would not have gone down a medical career path without them. My wife for constant support, just um, yeah, believing in me even more than what I could believe in myself at times. Career wise, wow. Leslie Kalmbach, she's a retiree, but I called her my fire mom because she helped me through the application process. And yeah, we formed a great mother-son bond. Even we stay in touch even while she's retired. And I always say, how you doing, mom? So love her. Retired Fire Chief Steve Rollator for actually hiring me. He gave me the opportunity to be a firefighter. And the first time I met him, he knew my name, the name of my kids, who recommended me, just so personable. So tremendous shout out to retired Chief Steve Rollator. Wow, Wilbur Holt, retired battalion chief. He was the first African American firefighter here in Gwinnett County. He paved so many roads and knocked down lots of doors to get that opportunity. So love Chief Holt. Stan Bowers. Stan Bowers is a driver engineer out in Decula. But when I first got started, he didn't have that rank, but he took me under his wing, taught me the importance of proper communication on the radio and how to listen for certain calls and what types of keys or triggers would let me know how to respond to an incident, or when we were on a fire truck, how to be dressed appropriately. Love Stan Bowers. That is my brother. I will run through a million walls for him. Wayne Bates, when I was in paramedic school, Wayne was one of the driver engineers slash paramedics at my station, and he would stay up with me 3, 4 in the morning when I was struggling, trying to make heads or tails from certain things. Love Wayne Bates. Brian Rogers, he was another driver engineer paramedic at my station, and he really pushed me and taught me a lot as to fighting fire, how to read smoke, to know what's going on inside of a building, the importance of grabbing the correct fire hose off of the truck, the impacts of that. Joe Shul, he's a captain now, but he was my lieutenant when I first got promoted to driver engineer, and he helped me understand what it meant to be an informal leader and how to lead a crew, even though there was a superior officer, what it meant to train the crew, to get the crew to clean, to really lead. Um, as a driver engineer, probably not even probably the best officer I've worked for in my 15-year career. um Jakiri Weaver, he is the assistant, or I should say deputy, chief of operations. When he was my captain, he allowed me to lead the crew, and stay true to my personality. He allowed me to do that. Always indebted to him. And finally, my previous supervisor, who's now promoted, he used to be Captain Tommy Rutledge, but he's now Battalion Chief Tommy Rutledge. He actually interviewed me and hired me in my current role as the Assistant Public Information Officer. He taught me so much. He helped me perfect my craft of being able to interact with the media, interact with the public, but help me understand how to do that in the framework of being a firefighter. He gave me the keys to the kingdom, so to speak, and allowed me to um, do some things. Social media, he allowed me, with the direction of our communications department, he allowed me to go out and find messaging, to share with the public. And he always gave me as much latitude as necessary, but if I ever needed a helping hand, a sense of direction, he was always right there. Even now in his current role, different from the PIO office, but his door is always open for me. And I said lastly, and I mentioned Rutledge, but one more, Chief Stony Polite. He has mentored me. Um, just yeah, he's been a great sounding board for me. So I'll stop there because I'm sure more names will just shoot across my brain. But tremendous shout out to those individuals, because without every single one of them, I would not be in front of this camera talking to you today.
Absolutely, absolutely. Just as much as it takes a tribe to raise a child, it takes a tribe for us to keep on the path that we're enduring on, because it is a long stretch of endurance, for us to stay on a path. So shout out to everybody that has helped, with molding a great person that is essential to our community. Thank you. Um, and also, it's heartwarming to know that everybody essentially is like family. You work long enough with others and you partner up with them and you solve problems constantly. You cook together, you eat together, you have meetings together, I'm telling you, it's like family. So yeah, I wouldn't trade it for the world. Everybody in my tribe, we're family. And yeah, we're entrepreneurs in different realms, doing different things, but we assist each other when the time comes to stand up. So that's what I love the most about the fire department. It's a family. So big kudos to you and everybody. You said 31 or 30 stations in Gwinnett.
We have 31 fire stations here in Gwinnett.
31 stations. So shout out to everybody putting literally their life at risk to just do everything that they're doing to keep Gwinnett safe.
Thank you for that.
Yeah. So I know that right now with COVID, there's probably a lot of people that's seeking for employment. I want to ask you, is Gwinnett Fire actually hiring right now? And if so, where can people go apply?
We are hiring, and I apologize to you because you did ask me a few questions ago about if things were different with COVID, and just to touch on that very briefly, as it pertained to COVID, you know, we are advocates of safety. We always tell people safety first. A firefighter might say the last thing they say to each other when getting off the phone or leaving the company of each other is be safe. And so that is something that the pandemic really escalated for us, because we always make sure that we put safety first. If we're on a car accident, we're wearing a safety vest. When we're out on the road, if we're responding to a medical call, you'll see us wearing our safety glasses as well as our gloves. There's always what we call PPE, just the appropriate safety equipment for each incident. And so with the pandemic, we had to really stop and make sure that we were going the extra mile to not put not just the families at any particular risk, but our families, our fire families, and those at home. So it was challenging trying to make sure that we weren't doing anything to become a part of the problem, because we're trained. You get off the truck, you're jumping out with a sense of purpose. Let's get it done. We have a life to save. We've got a fire to put out. And so it made us become a little bit more methodical to make sure that we were doing everything just right. So that aside, yes, we are hiring. Encourage anyone, if they feel that they want to help the community at a different level, go to www.gwinnettfire.org. gwinnettfire.org. When they put that web address in there, it's going to take them right to Fire and Emergency Services. And in the left column of that page, they'll scroll down and they'll see something that says Fire Employment.
But yeah, thank you for letting us know where we can go ahead and apply. It is a very fulfilling opportunity to give back to others. And if you're driven, if you're adrenaline driven and you're wanting to seek a purpose in life, go ahead and just put your foot in the door and give it your all. You know, go ahead and apply. I want to commend everybody again. It's something that words cannot be enough for everything that everybody does when wearing a badge, when wearing a uniform and risking their lives. You know, like you said, not every day is the same. But, you know, it's interesting to know that you guys actually went above and beyond during COVID. So thank you for letting us know that. A lot of times, you know, you go out and you don't know how to react to these things. The last pandemic was like 1919. But, you know, in situations like this, you guys acted swiftly and with care. So you guys have gone above and beyond during a pandemic to not only protect us, you know, the people, the community that's calling you guys for help, but also your department and your families at home. So I want to continue to just stretch this. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This will not be the last interview. This is going to be an amazing series. I'm looking forward to the exclusive partnership between us. And if you guys need anything, you guys let me know. I'm here. So thank you so much. And I look forward to speaking to you and your team soon.
Leslie, thank you very, very much. To know that there's someone in the community that's actually taking the time to have a series to really show that we as firefighters are real people. We deal with the same problems and challenges that other people in the community do. Thank you for allowing me to be here to share a little bit of our story. And we certainly hope that we get the opportunity to come back and do more to tell stories to the community and show them that make a positive difference in their lives. So thank you again.
Most def. Well, until next time, Don, thank you so much, and we'll talk soon.
Alrighty, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Make sure to follow House of Ramirez on all social media platforms.